I don't do anything that I'm not good at just because it's popular. I know what I'm good at, and I'm gonna stick to that. If we're gonna win Le Mans, it'd be kind of cool if I did it.
I don't know if I'm very good at it, but I like to lead people, and I enjoy the human side of it, and I really like to race.
Box this lap, driver change. Box this lap, driver change.
A lot of gentlemen drivers, they followed in my footsteps. Maybe that was stupid to say, but it is true though. You can look at the facts. If it wasn't for me, the other gentleman drivers would not be driving LMP2. They'd be driving GTE AM.
He came in as fresh as all of them because, you know, they're all kind of relatively fresh as far as compared to what we're all used to in the car. He was pretty good when he started. He got better and better throughout the years, but so did the other guys. And if you look at the pace difference between them now, we're talking tenths everywhere they go. And they seem to, kind of like action sports, you know, they all raise their game together. And the pros are pretty much where they're going to be, but they had the biggest margin to improve. And I think they've, as a group, it's kind of cool to watch because it seems they've all driven each other to a greater height. And thus far, Henrik's made the least mistakes and always put the ball back in the pros' court.
Here we're pretty, I mean, I think our main focus here is making sure that H can drive the car comfortably. You know, if Henrik is good, then most of the time we're good. And, you know, most of the time when the car drives pretty good, then he's really happy.
Yeah, and that's the problem for us gentlemen drivers. My toolbox is a hammer and a screwdriver. Montoya and Ben, you know, they have a complete toolbox. They know, okay, so if the car does this, I have to drive like this. I have like one driving style, maybe one more, but that's it.
We're approximately 7/10 a lap quicker, so I know you're trying. Surely would help the front.
He's very sensible in having realistic goals, and with that comes less mistakes than, you know, some of his peers that he's racing against. Obviously, the more laps he does, the better he's getting. So he's still improving now. So every time we go on track, he's trying to learn and implement different things. You never stop learning if you're open to that. So every time I'm on track, I'm learning something new, and I still do some development work for different categories and things. So it's just ever evolving. So the more you run, the more you learn, and hopefully the more experience you get and the better you get.
It was competition first. I just loved to compete. I ran track, I raced motocross, raced BMX. It was all about just competing. There's always outside influences, your parents, my dad was a car nut. He liked racing, he did some amateur racing back in the day, nothing serious. All I can recall was, you know, wanting to be a race car driver, having the support from my parents to try to make it, even if they didn't have the means. So it was never a no in the house. It was like, yeah, let's give it a go. And maybe I surprised them at one point. I ended up being better than they could afford. But sometimes it happens like that. And yeah, it's just a lifelong thing. But it's competing that I love.
Oh yeah, early days. Speedway on ice racing with the, like, so where I grew up, that's where my dad brought me to watch. For me, it was the sound, it was the smell, it was, but I never had the means to do it. From 8th grade, from 7th grade, I worked 4 summers as a painter. Not art, like normally. In the summers between the school years, to make my own money so I could buy a motocross. So, and then my dad brought me to the track, and we did 1 session and then couldn't afford more. It was over. But then eventually I was successful in business and decided to live my passion. There is only one of me in the whole world. And I have good stuff to bring to this. And that's what I'm trying to tell my kids, that, you know, look at life. If you can get to that stage where you're like happy with yourself, you'll do good. I really respect them for what they're doing, because I could sure as hell not do what they're doing. I mean, and that's, it is amazing what these guys are doing, and girls, because they want to be part of something, you know, and that's why I really want to win too, because that makes their job much easier. You should see the difference when, you know, when we're up on the podium, especially on the highest, you know, #1. They're happier than I am. It's amazing.
I demand a lot. I don't have to say a lot, but they know when I'm not happy. And it's not that I'm not happy with them, I'm just that they know how passionate I am and what I give to be here. So I don't have to say anything, but, you know, the big thank you always goes to the crew.
Two teams, lots on the line beyond just the Le Mans 24 Hours. Big points race for the WEC.
Yes, heat into the brakes, please. Heat the brakes.
As the cars go through now, so the clock ticks and we are officially underway.
It is a little bit like a little bit of a dream, because I remember the first time we did Le Mans, we had an issue and we knew we couldn't finish very well. And I wanted to do the last stint, because after you pass the checkered and then you go through all the marshals and everything, it's an undescribable feeling.
Lapierre does go second and Drama straight away into the side of turn. To number 8 goes the Glickenhaus. Drama at the first corner.
My goodness, that was just it.
Yeah, brakes are coming up nicely. Keep doing the same.
It's a long race. There was all sorts of different conditions and everyone has issues during the race. So it kind of evens itself out, and again it's important to be patient and not over push to try and get back if you have had a little issue and things like that. So You know, some of it's, well, a lot of it is experience. Obviously, you've got to have the crew behind you, and we do.
Well, you know, you got to understand everybody's here for the same thing. Everybody's here to get a good result and work really hard at it. And I mean, if you're here and you don't want to win, might as well go home. I mean, sometimes you have good shots of winning, and sometimes you don't.
I think a lot of people had adversity this year at Le Mans. It was a very difficult race. Many incidents, many full course yellows and slow zones. It was almost felt like a bit of a gincana, I think.
Full course yellow in 30 seconds.
It's almost like they were trying to catch you. And we navigated all that very well, but made our own little mistakes along the way due to the fact that we were the start-stop nature of this event.
There were two plans. One was that we would do an early stop. I would jump in and just do like a lap or two, and then because we were leading with plenty. But then something happened that made us not lead with a lot of time. So, and the second thing was that I would go in at the end. And so when we were discussing the two alternatives, I was very pro me coming in just for a lap or two and then leave it to the big boys. And I wanted to do the last stint because it is a little bit like a little bit of a dream.
Fox is not driver change.
Because somebody had to close it out. And in this case, we put the trust into our bronze driver, our gentleman driver, our patriarch of the effort, and he delivered. As I personally knew he would. Maybe he wasn't so sure at the beginning, but as it evolved and his stint evolved, I could tell that he knew he could do it, and he did. And he beat a Le Mans winner and a Formula One driver.
Nobody's going to forget it because of that last lap drama.
And this was extraordinary stuff. There go the Totas, but the cars behind were still battling.
Yep.
Wow.
You see LMP2 standings. First Pro-Am win of the season for DragonSpeed.
I'm going to say one of the happiest men in the place will be Henrik Hedman, because he could so easily have succumbed to the pressure of being hunted down by a genuine Top Gun.
Well, we were all sitting here going, oh, what are they doing? What are DragonSpeed doing? Putting him in for the finish. They obviously had to complete his time.
They
They had that strategic advantage.
Yep.
They had done their final stop.
American National Anthem for DragonSpeed, the winning team in LMP2 Pro-Am. Henrik Hedman, Juan Pablo Montoya and Ben Hanley victorious.
I wonder if impeccably, but it's the winners' trophies. For Montoya, Henrik Hedman and Ben Hanley.
So our final podium here at Le Mans for the Pro-Am top three in LMP2.
A lot of passion there.
There's more bants on that podium than there is in the commentary box, isn't there? There's a lot going on there. Henrik Hedman, and actually I have to say Fritz van Aert, you're looking at two men there in the early stages of fairly major hangovers. I think they are going to really enjoy this moment and the rest of their weekend.
There will be a big party there.
Possibly the early part of next week, there might be a lot of, you know, I'm not in, hold my calls.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's
guys.
going to be one to remember. It really is.
You're right.
Well done as well, Elton Julian and the DragonSpeed team. It's all about the drivers on this podium, but it's all about the team, getting them there as well, bringing a car to this race that could go the distance and do so at speed.
I would probably thank Elton for taking me on this journey. And when I say Elton, that includes also, because he is DragonSpeed, it's his team. He is really good at finding the right people. And it's that trust thing too. Like he trusts me that I will come up with the money, and I trust him to deliver the best for me. We both have one drive, and that's to beat the other ones. And we've done it so many times. Even though, you know, you have a bad race or whatever, if you look back, what we have achieved is just amazing.